of this year, Dr. Noor Abdallah welcomed a new baby boy into the world, her first child. But this moment of joy and excitement was overshadowed by the grief of her husband, the child's father, Mahmoud Khalil, being incarcerated in an ICE detention facility more than 1,000 miles away. I want everyone here who is a parent to think about the pain of being unable to be with your spouse as you welcome your first child into the world. The terror, the loneliness, the heartache. And to make that pain worse, Mahmoud Khalil committed no crime, and he was lawfully in the United States of America. He was targeted by the Trump administration for peacefully protesting in defense of Palestinian human lives on his college campus. For this act of expressing free speech, this Columbia University graduate student, a lawful green card holder, was abducted by ICE agents and his visa was revoked. He is still incarcerated today. He is not the only lawful resident targeted for expressing viewpoints at odds with the Trump administration. Yoon Sung Chung, Mohsen Madawi, these are just two others. HB 2880 is a dangerous law that will pave the way for more peaceful protesters like Khalil to be jailed, imprisoned, deported, subjected to violence at the hands of police, or doxing at the hands of right-wing extremist vigilantes. This law is based on the unfounded idea that protest and protesters make us less safe. Ironically, it's laws like this that actually diminish safety and stability in our communities, as our most sacred right to express ourselves, our right to assembly, our right to petition the government for redress of grievances are trampled upon. The number of laws criminalizing protest has risen dramatically in the past decade. Since 2017, 21 states have successfully enacted a total of 51 different limitations on protest. So why, at a time that 150 ASU students have had their visas revoked, at a time when universities already can and are harshly going after students who peacefully protest on campus, why are we looking to add another law to the books to criminalize protest, to put a target on the backs of people simply for their political beliefs? This is about so much more than encampments. And this is not about any type of protest that might encourage actual hate speech, because ARS 15-1866 already grants universities the authority to regulate campus activity in a content-neutral manner and to keep the most egregious speech off of campuses. But now this bill will force campus police to enforce this prohibition, even if they believe there is no current threat on campus to public safety. HB 2880 is unconstitutionally vague and will lead to arbitrary enforcement. This bill bans prolonged encampments, not just overnight ones. There is no definition for prolonged encampments. Although my colleagues want to argue this bill will not lead to criminal charges for people doing voter registration or having farmers markets on campus, the language is so vague that it can and will be interpreted as such. And law enforcement will have no discretion, no choice, but to enforce an unconstitutional law. I want to live in a country where public spaces on university campuses are free for all students to express themselves, debate ideas with their fellow students, engage in student life, and yes, protest peacefully against horrific injustices we are seeing in our nation and across the world. HB 2880 criminalizes public spaces on campus by creating a vague blanket ban on placing tents, structures, and other equipment in public areas. It indeed violates the First Amendment. It indeed will make it harder for all students to express themselves on campus. It indeed ignores the fact that universities already have the tools necessary to regulate campus areas and punish harassing speech, threatening speech, and speech that targets a person based on their identity. There isn't a place for that on campus, and universities are already handling that. Indeed, HB 2880 will lead to more students like Mahmoud Khalil, Yoon Sung Chung, Mohsen Madawi, and the countless others being arrested, detained, deported, incarcerated, subjected to violence at the hands of police or extremist vigilantes. We must learn to debate complex and emotional viewpoints on their merits, not by banning certain forms of dissent. That is not what America should be about. I vote no.
Senator Ortiz votes no. Senator